streaming. Oh, it is streaming. How come you stream last time? Okay, it is streaming. What up? How's it going, guys? It's your host, Philip Nick, back at it again. I'm gonna mark this as like day, what's that? Day 8 of building my business, but in reality this is day 9 because I forgot to stream again. I don't know why it's not doing this with like YouTube. I wish I could fix it. I wish I did, because last week I had so much to talk about. Like so much to talk about what I learned. And it all went for nothing. Well, it's strong, and you know what? It's pretty big to talk about. What I really want to return to what I talked about last time, so I'm gonna do that. Let's see, where was I? So, case in point, I actually haven't streamed on Friday as well because I was sick. Turns out being, when you stress, everything stress related, you get sick pretty easily, which is annoying, but what can I do? Oh, but I treated myself. I got this. Now, actually, before I start, let's have a drip check. Why is it so cheap now? Drip check. Today I'm going to make a cardigan. We got the pants, second hand again for army. A cost cardigan from second hand as well, from Vinted. Now with like second hand hunting, let me tell you this, man. With Army, like the fashion brand Army, it's a monumental pain in the ass, to be honest. Like it is so hard to tell legitimacy of brands like Army these days because they're quite hyped. When something is quite hyped, what tends to happen is that the replication of it becomes better and better and better. For the most part, you are safe if you either go to the very good category. When you go to very good category, chances are they are legit. In my opinion, if you go to, and if they have a decent price reduction and they've been there for quite a long time and it's not logo, don't buy anything logo. Or if it's not a sneaker, don't buy any shoe wear as well. Cosmetic is flat out too. Get that out of the way. If it's something that requires a large amount of pattern to do, like this pants for instance, it's quite uncommon. There's a lot of things that flies. This button, this double pleated. It has a great pocket, but I don't know whether the pocket is kind of real. There's a lot of fleece on it because I was wearing my other sweater earlier on today. But generally speaking, this one kinda safe, and it's also quite pricey to get as well. For the other ones, such as logos and whatnot, I wouldn't recommend that. There's such a big market for it, and if I had to look at it, I had to look at the font, the typography, the placement, because that's how you can actually tell whether something's legit. You got to look at the QC of the quality control of the garment. Are the fonts great? Are the fonts clear? Is typography clear and whatnot? Is there a label? Does a label match other label? What time? When is it made? Because as a brand progresses, their labeling also progresses. So when the label, you gotta ask yourself, how were they doing the label back then as well? So it's such a pain in the ass to track. But if the stitching is good, if the stitching is really good, you can generally trust that it's safe, because you want to look for consistent stitching. You want to look for stitching. Oh, this is really nice. You want to look for stitching that has great consistency. That is about, like, if it's a millimeter from the edge, from the seam of the edge, you can more or less trust it. But even with luxury brands like Coach and everything, let me tell you, that QC for that isn't particularly great either. So what was I talking about like last week? So last week, it took a while for us to digest what that person, if I wonder if he will actually evolve into a business coach to us, but what that person was telling us about our brand. But we've come to realize that he was in fact right, because if we actually go to say a website like this, like Studio Fright or something like that, which is documenting yourself and truly being actually a brand of a mid to high level, right? Mid to high level, you know, they're not saying much. They're not saying much at all in terms of type, in terms of what they write. But immediately, you can tell what they're good at, what their style is at, what they can do, what they offer over here, due to how they're packaging it. And it doesn't have to be. And like I was trying to tell my partner that it doesn't have to be. Oh, I've done logo in the past. I've done this in the past. How does it all match together? It doesn't have to be that, because look at this. This is manufacturing. This is commerce. This is Web3. They're all very different looking, all of them. But underneath the same package, they have this overall umbrella branding, which is, uh, yeah, which is cool. I just think it's a very good look. It's a very good look. Wait 1 second. I got a text. Wait 1 second. Okay, cool. Anyway. Oh, wait. Shit. Fuck it. You know what? Never mind. I'll buy myself an extra. It's always nice to have a nice little bottle. It's not even that expensive. Anyway. So, like, immediately, you can kind of tell what they can do and the diversity of that. They never actually say, our clients see us as trusted partners as much as we do, which is a ruse because we actually do even care more. And that's great. And what they have here: web design, visual identity, verbal identity, brand design, development, creative spirit. This is exactly what we want to do. This is a good example. Here's another one as well that I was looking at. You know, all of these, they never say what they can do. They just show what they've done. And when you see what they've done, they're like, okay, it speaks louder. It speaks a lot louder. So one of the biggest tip that the business man told me was that the website isn't a product. It really truly is the vehicle of the product. You know, the product being the past work of what my partner has done, what we've done, we plan to do, and document it. That's a very important distinction. We've tried to, look, when we got this website, when we designed this website, we actually went with the idea, and actually asked someone that's doing SaaS Webflow. But Webflow is a completely different game from creativity, and I have to keep in mind that our product our unique selling point isn't exactly like um isn't exactly like, oh man, I'm gonna stop. Like, we aren't we are web design, and sure we can do a whole bunch of other things as well. Our unique selling point is the identity. It is the creative identity when it comes in the end, and if you don't have our past work, there's not really much you can do to say that. Ultimately, we're just saying, and our packaging isn't that good. But even if the packaging is good, the product is good, it's fine. So what we need to focus is actually the product. However, any of you that's watching that are creatives, you will inherently know that looking back at your past work isn't exactly a fun uh, experience, especially if you've done a lot. And you're trying to pick out the best one of what you've done a lot, of who you want to say, you know. And as a challenge, you obviously have a block. So my role has shifted kind of a bit. And I will talk about this thing I've actually coined as barrier reduction. That's what I talked about last week, which is the reduction of a barrier in order to activate an action. I guess that's how you put it. But it kind of brings me back to this one time I was talking with a friend of mine, and he wanted to go to the gym. You know, let's just say he was in an unhealthy position of his life, and he would prefer to start going to the gym vigorously. And I've tried many different methods with him. I've also told him like you have to eat this nutrition, that nutrition. None of them really quite stick because he in the end of the day he's like, bro, I cannot find the time to go to the gym and whatnot. Uh, yeah, and I told him, dude, just go there for 10 minutes. Just go there for 10 minutes and I don't care. Just walk to the gym if you have to. Just walk there, sit there, play some video games, or walk on the treadmill for like 10 minutes, call it a day, go back home. But you have to do that every day. So what ended up happening is he actually did that, you know. What he found out is that the moment you go to the gym already, you're kind of like you have this thing where you're there, so why not just start? Another situation would be I have ADHD. I have a lot of ADHD, so to work is kind of hard. And there's this hack I do in my head, you know, just start something for like 2 minutes, 1 minute, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Just start it, and then ride the flow. Sometimes it's not about doing a great deal of work. Sometimes it's about reducing the barrier to start doing the work and increasing momentum incrementally. My job has kind of shifted a bit right now. In respect to that, my job was to start selling and increasing awareness as well. But until we perfect this product, which is this, it's not going to get us anywhere because even if I start selling right now, it's a tough call. Oftentimes we've actually even encountered, you know, the question of what I would love to see your past work, and then we stop. Ooh dee da la dee da what? Ooh, surprise, surprise, surprise. But my job now is to make sure that my partner has a reduction of barrier to start something. And also, it's another thing I want to coin the term as well. If I want to ask if anyone actually watches this Jujutsu Kaisen, like it's an anime. I love the anime, and there was one really confusing concept that a technique in this power is called projection sorcery, where over the span of 24 frame, over the span of a second, you have to map out your movement in the frame 24 times. There's a bit of a reality to that, to be honest. Like, there's a little bit of reality to that. Because it certainly becomes easier to do something when you visualize yourself doing it already. In the sense that you're projecting yourself that, oh, at about this time, I'm going to do this, and that. You visualize that because as people, as human beings, we are actually people that are quite programmable in our brain. Our brain isn't exactly a state of constant, it fluxes. But we can manage that through projecting what we want to do. And at least you can probably complete about 70% or 80% of your work. 70%, 80% of what you want to do based on that projection. Also, if you can see yourself selling, if you can see yourself talking to people that, you know, are well off beyond your rate, what you thought you could do, it certainly helps, you know. Confident, and that is actually the basis of confidence. I like to coin this term projection sorcery. In the sense you map the work and you can project yourself doing it. That's pretty cool, and that's really and I told her, you know, sometimes if you feel that you can't do this, uh, just imagine yourself doing it. Imagine what the outcome is, and maybe, and chances are you might get a little bit closer, even more closer than you imagine. So that's good. So we employed all of that, and shortly after that, I got sick. Yeah, I guess being overworked is not a great idea as well. Okay, dude, I've been sick for the weekend, and honestly, this is the first time I got sick in a month. But I've been being sick every month. This is cool. This website is super cool. Holy shit! Uh, I don't know if we have anything to do here. To be honest, I I guess we could do something here. Shit. Yeah, let's see what ChatGPT has to say first before I do it. This is cool, but this is single product. Huh. Huh. It's a face cap. Why is there a face cap? Oh my god, this is a coffee face cap, bro? Strange. I'm gonna save this and see what we can do here. Anyway, what you're gonna be seeing here right now is actually I'm gonna double up on work. I've been dying to get back on work on the weekend. All I've been doing is basically resting, because at this age right now, if I don't rest and like do nothing, it takes so much longer for me to recover and get back on my feet. It's annoying, you know. Like, oh, I just want, for the first 2 days of it, it was bliss, happiness. Oh my god, nothing. I just had to mentally check out, and then after that, like, don't do anything. But the next 2 days, I'm like, this is a slop. I barely taken a shower. It's a drag. Man, I feel gross. One of the things I do employ when I'm really sick though is to do my absolute best to do my absolute best, right? To feel well, or to feel at least clean, you know, at least that reduces my stress. Because like when you feel gross and everything, you just kind of add this much more, you just add more stress to yourself. You add more stress to yourself, you you know, it takes longer to heal. So what I like to do is I like to boil. I like to first make sure I exfoliate. God, my face is that I had to, it's hard work. I'm not born with great skin. I'm born with acne, and nothing hurts your confidence more than being with acne. Actually, let me rephrase that. Acne and balding patterns are about the same. Yeah, relatively about the same. Uh, like, oh, like, I wash my face twice a day. With a really gentle cleanser. Right now, I use Dr. Jart and Arancia. Arancia is pretty good. Arancia is really good. It's really taking the Korean skincare world by storm. While I wash my face, I boil some water and next time I mix some ice water in it. Put a clean towel on there. Put it on my face. Just steam it. Just relax. Just relax. And, you know, take a deep breathe and let that pores open. Then apply a toner, actives, moisturizer, and yeah, at least when you feel better, your brain will be better in recovering. I hold it in that regard. What was I doing? Oh. UFC drunken master. This is a friend. He's a young guy. Doesn't drink. Storm. Most of the athletes I know, the kickboxers I know, they don't drink, which is sad. I think sometimes you should just have fun, you know, just live life. But yeah, a lot of the young fighters I know try my best not to drink, but I do it Thai style. I'm not sure if any of you know how it goes down in Thailand, but in Thailand all they do is smoke, drink, and fight. I have a good time doing it too. Right, there's this one guy, GSP. If anyone watched those UFC out there, he brought in a drunk master. I can't remember his name again, but God, that guy, I don't know. Let's watch it. Yeah. Let's see. Background music, that's our audio, screen capture. Never mind, can't be bothered. But I'm gonna show this to you. Oh, I'm live. Look at me. That's live. That's me live. Oh my god. Yeah. Ciao, sir. John Charles Gabowski.
Biggest
This
stadium of Muay
guy
Thai in the world.
Was the first person
Dan.
to ever be, as a foreigner, to ever be ranked #1 in the Raja Damnan Stadium. And what the Raja Damnan Stadium is that it is the highest level of Muay Thai you can ever expect to achieve in the world. Sanchai for that for a lot of times, and like just comes in drunk and just beat the shit out of everyone. It's just crazy. Even for Bokao as well, it's insane. Comes in, does his work, and calls it a day. Let me tell you guys, this is so hard to do. He makes it look so easy. I don't know how he does it. I don't know, man. I aspire to be at this level of greatness in terms of fighting. I don't think I'll ever achieve it because I have to focus on business, and it's honestly quite nice to be a fighter and everything. In my opinion, I think it's fun. But like, you know, unless you're doing this full time, do know that being a fighter and a combatant means you're not gonna make any money for a very long time. Hell, even my favorite fighting tournament, one championship, they're bankrupt. But they're not bankrupt. But I think, are they bankrupt? By the way, you guys are seeing me copy and paste this and everything. Yeah, that's because I'm not using it now. I'm just going to use it later. So when I outreach to them, I actually have the notes up and ready, refresh, go in and target them. It's a pretty easy way to get me into the mode of working, which I really have to do soon enough. Like streaming is a lot of work too, but like I actually have to also focus on breaking down and doing some criticism on and supplying like what. Yeah. Keep in mind that if you are say we can do something here. If you are say a fighter, the chances of you making a significant amount of money is low, very low. You're probably making it more of endorsement or public publication or having a voice. I think it was Mighty Mouse as well, by the way, who said that one of the he doesn't like what's his name? Not Jonah Hill. It's the guy who does UFC. Guy, not Joe Rogan. Dana White. He doesn't like Dana White, but Dana White gave him the biggest advice, in his career, which is to say, he told it was in inauguration or something like that. I don't know, but he told a group of fighters that you only be fighting for a blink of an eye in your entire career, your entire life, and that'll be a very small fraction of time. Let's say 10 years is already of 100 years. That's not a lot. In that time, what you really should be focusing on is building your brand and your voice, what you mean, what you hope to, who you connect with. And the power of branding is really, it's difficult to master, but it's so powerful. I always say, and if anyone's religious here, I'm sorry, but I don't intend to be religion. The biggest brand, the biggest case study of a brand, without a doubt, the most successful one is religion. Like that is the best example of a brand in your entire life. Whether because it has this, it's so ingrained into into a large percentage of people. You cannot hope to achieve anything like that. But and easier said than done. By the way, we can deconstruct what a brand means and everything, but it's really easier said than done. I like to think of a brand as this thing, and to put it in the terms of my favorite anime, Jujutsu Kaisen, domain expansion. You know, you craft your identity, you craft your look, your voice, your visualization, how you manifest that visualization into space, how you actually construct your inner world into a into your outer world, how you actually I wouldn't want to use the word manifest. I think manifest right now has been killed by the younger generation. Manifest time for healing was that, yeah, how you materialize your inner world into into an outer space, and to a very very specific materialization of your inner world. That's branding, and the reach of it is as well. The reach doesn't have to be just like like a store. Could be a foundation of a brand. You call it brick and mortar, but how far can it reach? And to show you and another great example of to show you the power of brand is say like hmm ah Richard Branson and Virgin and the Virgin Group. No, the Virgin Group doesn't have a huge stake into all this into all that all its business. But it's Virgin Music, Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Space, everything. But it takes only a small amount of profit and return and ROI on this group. Well, it has a core set of rules. You actually have to go by the name and branding of it, and because of that, it expanded rapidly. Richard Branson is probably one of the best branders out there. I have to say. If we're talking brand alone, Richard Branson, pretty good. I think because he's not, because the Virgin Group isn't exactly a product based group either, not like Apple. You know, it branches out to many levels of business, B2B, B2C. Let's have a look. Virgin Group, Virgin Flying. It's a conglomerate. It's insane. Virgin Active, different countries. Atlantic, Australia, bat, gift, games, hotels, mobile, megastore. It's huge. It doesn't have like a huge ownership of this. It probably has like a partial ownership of it. You know, because of the vast nature of its company and its application company, it is, I would say, it's arguably one of the biggest case study of a brand out there. Yep, largely. Richard Branson himself. Space travel, even. Can you imagine that? What does he do, right? I wonder. Let's have a look. Look, you can put all of this on a webpage. These are free information. You will never get the secret of it. Let's see what people say. His personal brand is estimated to be 100 times more valuable than his Virgin brand alone. Most follow professional on LinkedIn. How does he do this? You know, Richard, your reputation is everything. Ultimately, it's fun, personality, entrepreneurial integrity, and remarkable creativity that attracts so many people to follow him. Become brand advocates, actively sharing his story. Reputation, he says. We all know. Oops, sorry, my bad. We all know that reputation, with the word reputation, but he does it better than anyone else. I would like to. I wonder if I'll ever meet him one day. Richard Branson. What? Yeah, he's out. You know how he started out? You know how he started out, babe? He started out selling music, record. He started out Virgin Records, you know? I should buy a book about him. I need to learn about his story too, you know? But he follows the same thing that everyone follows. Every time. He followed a path. The path was laid before him and he just went with it. Now, I don't know if Richard Branson was a rich person or not. There's a school of power that says he is and he's not. But I do know he has what I share and many people who is good at sharing comment is... Oh, wait, what's this? He was the son of a lawyer and a mom of a ballet dancer and a hostess. Yeah, I guess he was. I guess, yeah. Still, a great example. We can learn from all manner of things. You know, no one's ever. When everyone say that they are self-made millionaires, they are not. You can't be a billionaire. They are not. You just cannot do this path alone. To be honest, it's great to share ideas, but share your ideas with people. Do yourself a favor and share ideas with people who are on the same trajectory as yours, and don't share ideas with people that even are your friends are not on the same trajectory as yours, because they will not know the penalty, the gravity, of what you're doing. And they're all trying to offer solutions, you know. They're trying to help you. Of course, they're trying to help you. They're your friends. They want the best for you, right? But in doing so, you will never be able to respect their point of view, because they have not shared the same pain as you have. You know, they're speaking out of air, good air, well a meaningful meaning. Not how it's not. It's kind of rude to say but it's speaking out of good. This certainly speaking out of good faith, but it does more damage than good, 110%. And it's taken me back to my kickboxing coach. You know, a long time ago, he told me like he would never ever ever listen to someone that's accomplished less than him in terms of business. Well, at the same time, at that time, I was like, that's pretty rude. Wait, what? In that respect, I was like, that's pretty rude. Like, one of that you can get a good idea, but here's that thing. He was right. And it only took me up to doing this. Now I start to understand why he was right. It's tough, I was talking to my parents as well. And it took me back to I told my father about this because he owns his own law firm and everything. He did it because he needed to do it as he was having me. He couldn't take care of me and work in a law firm at the same time. It's a pretty intense thing to do. So I just remember all the times I was talking to my dad and saying, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this, you should do that. When I told him about that, I sat down while talking to Dad, I'm like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I was just a kid. I didn't know any better. I'm so sorry of thinking that I could do something better than you, that you were doing, that my actions could, It's not that I think I could do a better job than you, but it does come off like that, like they have the answer. They don't have the answer. No one, I don't have the answer. Because if I had the answer, I would be somewhere in front of him as well. And naturally, I'm not in front of him because I'm just a son. And like, for whoever who's done that, if they think they have the answer, they should be in front of you in terms of building a business. But they're not. Unless they are. And if they are, then you probably want to listen to them. The thing is as well, it's also another thing, like who you listen to is quite important. Because you need to find some sort of alignment and understanding in order to actually let the criticism go into your head. For instance, the business guy I was talking to, he was in a museum ad space, museum ticketing and ad space, and he was 35 years ahead of me. Naturally, his experience far outshines mine, but it was difficult to digest that because I often ask myself, like, could you connect as a person that's about 65 years old? Could you understand the challenge of what a person of 25, 35 is going through right now in the industry? You've done this a long time ago. The playing field was different than it is. So it was difficult for me to say, yeah, I think you're right. In all honesty, he is right. He was very right. But at the same time, the challenges was vastly different back then. It really harkens back to that one podcast I saw. A level 10 person will be able to teach a level 1 to 9, and sometimes a level 9,000 cannot teach a level 10 because they might have forgotten what the difficulty was being level 10. So that was something to think about. Still, everything comes from a good intentions, I'd say. Like none of the people that were they're all trying to help. People are trying to help. That's the best they can do. But I oftentimes wonder, is trying to help a point something out of goodness or something out of ego to placate themselves? We will never know. Sometimes people like to help people because it fulfills part of their ego. Sometimes people like to help people because they're naturally good. More often than not, you'll be able to see the difference between two. Now, I'm not saying that everyone I know is doing that, but that random intrusive thought just happened in my head. For instance, like, I think I had a friend once that knew someone that was doing fundraiser, but turns out he was a dick behind the scenes. And the fundraiser gives him power, so like, yeah. Don't get me wrong. Helping people is all good, but it does feed a certain part of your ego to be valued and helped. You know what's harder than helping someone? Receiving help, asking for help, putting yourself out there saying, I need help. you know, that's significantly harder because that challenges your vulnerability, and that takes real strength. It takes real strength to both give help and accept help. And in this day and age, it can be, it's a strength that I think is very much needed. That was, I finished off last week's stream with like a quote, but I can't remember the context of it. Maybe I'll save it for next time. Yeah, I will. Anyway, it's about 40 minutes into the stream. I think I covered up all that I want to talk about last time as well. So I'm going to sign off here. And I hope to see you guys next time. Maybe one day we'll get one viewer. I look forward to that day. Suddenly out of nowhere, there's someone that's gonna pop out in the chat and say, hey. And I'm like, what the hell? That'll be crazy. Anyway, see you next time. Bye bye.